In the past few weeks, we've been looking at immigration and push and pull factors. We know that push factors are reasons that people leave or what pushes them out of their country. Pull factors are what bring people to a new country. It's what is attractive about that place. It's usually a positive thing. So push factors tend to be negative. Pull factors tend to be positive. We're going to talk today about the push and pull factors for Native Americans. What were the push and pull factors for the Native Americans as they had to migrate from their original homes to other areas inside of our country? First, let's take a look at our goal for today with your success criteria. You are going to kind of circle back a little bit to main idea. We learned main idea in the first quarter, and we're going to continue to practice it. When you are finding the main idea, you are finding the most important concept or idea from a text. You are also going to find details that support or prove that that idea is important. So we're looking for main idea today. To get us warmed up, we're going to take a look at a video on migration. Migration is different than immigration. So we've talked about how immigration is moving countries, migration is moving locations. So many of you have shared that you moved from a different state. We have two sisters in our room who moved from California. They migrated. They did not immigrate, because if they had immigrated, that would be a different country. But California is still inside of America, so we say they migrated. So migrating is when you move to a different location within the same country. Here is some background information on migration.
Migration is the movement of people. It happens today, and it's been happening for hundreds of thousands of years. In fact, no matter where you live, your ancestors took a journey to get you where you are right now. Vocabulary. Let's go. Yo, migration is the movement of people from one place to another. Many come to America. Look at Marie. Her parents came when she was just 3. They were pulled by money and opportunity, pushed by a lack of jobs that led to poverty. When people migrate, it can be permanently or temporarily. Push factors or forces that drive people away. I don't mean like Porsches, war, famine, bad economy, natural disasters and poverty. Pull factors do it backwards. They make a new place more attractive. Jobs, freedom of religion or politics, or maybe you're sick of the metropolis. Immigration is when you move into. Emigration is when you exit. So you might be an immigrant from one place, but you were an emigrant when you left it.
Left home for a new place. I plan to be here for a long time. Call it migration. Some people are forced. I chose with my own mind. Push factors, push people away from the place where they stay. Pull factors, pull people into a new place. We hope for a new day.
Voluntary migration means he or she chose, and nobody forces where he or she goes. Like in California, when they hit gold, some people move to the West Coast. William left his Irish community for the US and more opportunities. Even if it's voluntary, it can be that a place's push factors make you want to leave. Like when Ireland was really low on food, the famine forced William to move, but some are made to move. Forced migration, like Africans made to be slaves in our nation, or Native Americans who didn't plan to move till settlers took their land. Imagine if your family was forced to go along the trail of tears, far from home.
Left home for a new place. I plan to be here for a long time. Call it migration. Some people are forced. I chose with my own mind. Push factors, push people away from the place where they stay. Pull factors, pull people into a new place. We hope for a new day.
Yeah. Migration can be seasonal, moving each year when there's a reason to. For work or due to climate conditions, Matt's family follows crop harvest. Listen, sometimes immigrants can be refugees who fear persecution that I hope you never see. They live outside their country of origin due to their race, politics, or religion. Shira left Russia, said I have to do this, cause she was persecuted for being Jewish. Her family made a difficult trek through Europe and then further west to a land with freedom of religion. She could feel a whole new life beginning on Ellis Island. Yeah, that's why she saw the Statue of Liberty, she had tears in her eyes.
Left home for a new place, I plan to be here for a long time. Call it migration, some people are forced, I chose with my own mind. Push factors, push people away from the place where they stay. Pull factors, pull people into a new place, we hope for a new day.
Alrighty, what are some things that you noticed from that video on migration? What are some things that you noticed? Terrence?
Push factors pull people, push people to go to another place, and pull factors is there's a reason because they have to leave because of a reason.
Yeah, so push factors are usually the reason that people leave. The video gave us several examples: wars in your home country, poverty, not feeling safe if there's different organizations that don't make you feel safe, natural disasters, if there was a terrible hurricane or a flood that made the place unlivable. So there's lots of push factors. There are lots of reasons that people leave a location. Christopher, what did you notice?
I noticed that people move because they have enough food over there.
Yeah,
And
famine. Yeah, famine was a reason. That's a push factor. If there's not enough food inside of a country where you might live, you would want to leave. That's a push factor. Great. More noticings. What more did we notice from the video? I noticed not only were there push factors, but there were pull factors, reasons that people come to a new place. Aiden G, something to add?
It is reason because the girl who didn't speak English came to
Yeah, when people come to a new place, language can often be a barrier as well. William, what did you notice?
What I noticed was a push factor that there could be like maybe something they don't like the houses or like their land.
Yeah, there might be an issue with the land. Their houses might not be safe or might not offer them protection from weather. And that could be another push factor as well. In the chat, Vinny says that people can be persecuted. So a lot of times if there's extreme, let's see, how do we explain persecution? When people don't like a certain group of people and they do violent things to them, or they make their life very, very, very difficult, we can call that persecution. An example in that video was a young woman from Russia who was Jewish, and she left because her religion of Judaism and her heritage of being Jewish, her bloodline, was hated very deeply, so she had to leave as well. Alejandro, what did you notice?
another push factor was because they have to be forced, like the Russia girl. And they think they know why she cried. She shed tears when she saw the Statue of Liberty, because I think she knew that means there won't be any more slavery?
Okay, yeah. So the Statue of Liberty kind of represents a pull factor for a reason that some people choose to migrate to America. And that is exactly what you just said. It's kind of like a symbol that she's going to have freedom, that she was going to have liberty or the right to make choices in her life. So yeah, the Statue of Liberty inside of America represents that for a lot of people who migrate and immigrate here. It represents a pull factor of a better opportunity for life experiences. Great. So today we're going to take a look specifically at push and pull factors within Native Americans. I want to make sure we're very clear on what push and pull factors are. So we're going to take a look at an example from a person who migrated from Yemen. Okay, and this is actually from the Young Immigrants text that we read a couple weeks ago. So for some of you that chose this person, it should sound familiar. Here's some examples of push and pull factors for this person.
We know that immigrants sometimes are faced with reasons why they leave their country. These are called push and pull factors. Bassam wrote this journal entry, and Bassam is an immigrant. He says, "After my family got a visa in Yemen, I was so glad that I would be going to the USA. All my family were happy for us, but most of them were crying at the time we left. We left Yemen during the beginning of the revolution to change the president. Since then, people are suffering from lack of food resources. Each year it gets worse. My father told us that we would not stay for a long time in New York City, but since the war started in Yemen, it's not safe anymore. We couldn't go back, so we decided to stay. So for 2 years, we have been hoping that Yemen will get better and it will be safe so we can go back and see my family after 5 years of being expatriates." What push and pull factors do you see in Bassam's immigrant story? I notice that he talks about the people suffering from lack of food resources. This is a push factor, a reason that someone might leave their country. What else do you see in Bassam's story? Can you find more push or pull factors?
Alrighty, so let's take a look at this text. I'm going to leave it here on the large screen. What are some other push and pull factors that you heard about his life in and away from Yemen? What are some reasons that he had to leave? What are some reasons that they came to America? Terrence.
The reason he had to leave was because they had a war and it wasn't safe anymore.
Yeah, it says right here.
First.
Yeah, when there was a change of president and a revolution, there was a war that started and it wasn't safe for them. So they had to leave so that they could keep their bodies safe and their lives protected. So it wasn't safe. So that was a push factor for Yemen. A pull factor was that there was no war going on in the USA. So they said, our push is we want to leave the war. So we're going to look for a place that does not have a war. And for this family, that was the USA. They recognized that they would be safe in the USA in terms of there not being a war or a battle happening. What more push or pull factors do we see? Alejandro?
A pull factor is because they would begin to change the president and I think they're going to vote.
You might be using some background knowledge and making some predictions there that maybe a pull factor would be, let's go to a place where the election seems to be less likely to lead to a war. That could have been this family's thought from their experiences in Yemen. Okay, awesome. So again, we want to make sure we understand that people don't just wake up and say, I feel like moving today. Okay, most of the time when people make a very large move in their life to a completely new location, there are push and pull factors that are making them feel that need in their life. We're going to take a look at an example of push and pull factors for a Native American tribe. This is the work that you are going to be doing. You are going to be finding push and pull factors for a different Native American tribe. Here's some examples for this Native American tribe called the Navajo.
We have been learning about immigration. A long time ago, immigrants moved to our land. When they got here, they met Native American tribes. We've been talking about some of these Native American tribes and communities. Today we're going to look at this text about the Navajo Native Americans. We're going to look at what happened when immigrants from Spain moved into this land. Fighting for land. Spanish settlers first met the Navajo in the 1600s. The Navajo did not like their customs, and sometimes the Spanish took them as slaves. Together with the Pueblo and Apache tribes, they fought off Spanish settlers. In the 1800s, American soldiers and settlers began to move west. They traveled through and settled on Navajo land. The Navajo were strong fighters. They often attacked them to protect their land and way of life. The U.S. government wanted to stop these attacks. Today we're going to talk about how Native American tribes left their land. We're going to connect this to push and pull factors. On my screen, I have a main idea and details graphic organizer. The main idea is that the tribe left their land. We're going to look for the reasons, the push or pull factors that caused the Navajo tribe to leave their land. In the text, I see that the Spanish settlers sometimes took them as slaves. This would be a push factor, a reason that the Navajo would want to leave their land. I can then record my push factor as a detail in my organizer. The Spanish took them as slaves. What other reasons, what other push or pull factors would cause the Navajo people to leave their lands? I noticed that the American soldiers moved west in the 1800s, and they settled on the land that belonged to the Navajo. This might be another reason that the Navajo tribe decided to leave their land. If new immigrants came and moved into their area, that might be another push factor to push them out of their land. Today you're going to do just like this. You're going to read about a Native American community. You're going to look for push and pull factors in the text, and you're going to record them as details that support the main idea.
All right, questions about push and pull factors for Native Americans? Questions, anything that did not make sense in what you just saw? Feel good about that? Okay. Today, I am going to put you into some breakout rooms and you're going to get some time to work on these push and pull factors together. So in right now, your background, I'd like for you to go to Seesaw and go to your activities. You have an activity called Push and Pull Factors for Native Americans that has just been released to you. Go ahead and pull that up. And as you're pulling that up, I am actually going to go ahead and create your breakout rooms. So go get ready to add your response and I will create your rooms. Recording. So numbers 1 and 2 we have done. Watch the teaching video and the example slides. Discuss the example with your teacher. We've done that. You're getting ready to work on 3 through 6. Number 3 says read the Fighting for Land text about the Cheyenne tribe. Highlight 3 reasons that support the main idea. Hint, you are looking for push and pull factors. Type the details on the main idea and details page. You probably won't have time to finish all 3 details today, but you'll be able to get a good start inside of your breakout room. So you won't finish in your breakout room, but you'll get a good start. Slide 1 is your success criteria. Slide 2 is the first page of text that you will read. If you are struggling to read the text, your group can click on the video down here and listen to Ms. Renalé read this text to you. Slide 3 is the second part of text. Again, you can read this out loud, or you can click on the video to listen to Ms. Renalé read the text to you. Slide 3 is where you are going to put your details, your push and your pull factors that support the reasons the Cheyenne tribe migrated from their land. As always, we'd like for you to reflect on your success criteria and tell me how successful you feel with your main idea and detail work today. Okay? All righty. Ready. So to be clear, if you did not finish inside of your breakout room, this is now going to become your time for independent work. So you should be working on highlighting 3 reasons that support the main idea that the tribe had to migrate from its country, which should be push and pull factors. So you should highlight 3 push and pull factors. You should then type those push and pull factors on your graphic organizer. So when you turn this in, I should see 3 separate items highlighted. I should see 3 different items typed as well. Okay?